So most people are trying to use AI to shortcut their way to success. But here's what they don't get. AI is powerful, but without the right mindset, it won't make you any money. It'll just make noise. So I'm going to do something a little differently in this video. I am going to share with you some tactical information, exactly how to use AI tools like Manus and Gemini to solve real business problems. But even beyond that, I'm going to give you the two mindset shifts that help me go from stuck to scaling very, very fast. So if you're trying to use AI to start a business, build some income, or escape your job, this is what separates the people making money from the ones who are spinning their wheels. But before I get into that, why should you listen to me? Let me give you a little background about my journey as an entrepreneur or a person who has been building an online business. So I used to be a mechanic. Entrepreneurship is tough. And I will say that entrepreneurship has created bigger life lessons and fires in my life than I ever experienced in a regular 9-to-5 job working as a mechanic. But that being said, it has also created much more rewards, far greater rewards than I would have ever imagined and dreamed as a mechanic back in the day. So the farthest I could look ahead as a mechanic was the possibility of one day making six figures. That would be like at the top level of working on exotic cars. I would maybe one day make six figures. Thank God that didn't happen. I would have sold myself short. However, dealing with my 9-to-5 job, I had to deal with my boss, angry customers. It was, a difficult physical task. I didn't make a lot of money. So there were all these challenges that came with it. But with entrepreneurship, it's not just an easy road either, right? The insane thing about entrepreneurship, and it's something that I deal with on a daily, regular basis, is that you will have the most polarizing roller coaster of a ride you will have ever imagined. And let me know in the comments below if you can relate to this. So you will have days where you can, get an email from your credit card company that someone stole your credit card, your company credit card, and they have spent over $20,000 on your credit card because you were using it to run Facebook advertising and somebody somehow got it. This is an actual story that happened to me. But you will also, in the very same day, find out that somebody on your team closed a $30,000 client. So how do you reconcile those two things together? It's almost impossible. You will have, like I said, the high of the high, the low of the low, and I've seen everything in between as well. And so in case you don't know me, my name is Nick Ponte. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you're an existing subscriber, welcome back. A couple things about me. Last year, my company, Manus Marketing, was recognized as the second fastest growing company in Hawaii. I live in Hawaii. What I do on my own time, I like surfing, I like golfing, those types of things. We recently had a company retreat in Hawaii. We do it pretty much every year. This is kind of our marketing team, our office located on Oahu. I have been featured in publications like Forbes, Inc. magazine for different digital marketing tactics that I've created and pioneered for the simple reason that they work. And I have over 2,000 success stories documented from helping other people start and grow wildly successful online remote AI type businesses. I see some people tuning in live too. Lisa says huge up and down. Papa says watching all the way from, I don't know, is that where that flag is from, but welcome everybody. So like I said, I have 2,300 success stories documented. These are other people who have followed my strategies, taken action, and started to grow their online business. And, outside of growing your online business, at least for me, what really drives me is building a lifestyle business. For me, I have taken almost everything that I have done online and reinvested it in myself or my life. And, largely the vehicle that I use to invest is real estate. I have a pretty large portfolio. I've been in the digital marketing world for almost a little over a decade now. And, over those years, I have slowly accumulated rental properties and my own, what I would consider to be, my dream house over there on the left, just in the last year. And I just say all of that because entrepreneurship, digital marketing, using AI to get customers and make money online has been the vehicle that has built me this type of business. And I want to give you a full disclaimer. I work my butt off. You're not going to get these types of results without taking action and making things happen. But I will be completely upfront with you and say that the ability to take action and build a very successful business, similar to people within our community, has changed massively with the new rise and innovations with AI technology. And what's wild is right now in this moment, things are moving so damn fast to that you can find a strategy, catch on right now, and take action and be in front of this wave and have an incredible amount of success. And I'll give you an example of that. Just now this morning, I'm looking at different tools that allow you to create AI avatars, replicas, clones of yourself, like me, right? Like this video. I mean, this is me. I'm not an AI. I'm here. I'm live. I'm real. But I have seen people cloning themselves to the point of you can't really tell. Like, it is so beyond good. And that has only really started to happen in the last couple of weeks, right? So the people that are there watching this information that start to adapt that and innovate it, you're going to have 6 months to a year to absolutely freaking crush it and make a bunch of money doing different things, getting clients, sending, videos to clients or prospecting or people, or creating a YouTube channel or creating videos. There's lots of different things that you can do to make money with that. That's not what I'm trying to dive too deep into, but I'm giving you an example of where we are in the world right now and how easy it is to actually be successful than it was before. Because at the end of the day, you have this insane technology that is growing at a very, very fast astronomical rate that you get to take advantage of and be a part of. And so I want to get into some of the meat of this video that I originally set out to create. Because like I said, entrepreneurship is tough, right? And as an entrepreneur, you will find that you have obstacles every single day, fires to put out every single day. And you will also have, like I said, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom, an incredible life if you build this type of business for yourself. You can, like, for example, my morning is like, I wake up, I have coffee, I check emails, I do, some of my deep work, I create my presentations for the day, whatever I need to get done. But then I spend about an hour with my wife and daughter when she wakes up having breakfast. After that, I go to the gym, I come back, I work some more. I do my cold plunge. It's not really a cold plunge. I don't really like cold plunges, but I jump in my little pond that I have out there in my backyard. And I continue to work more. And then I take lunch, and then I get to hang out with my family again. Whereas before, when I was this guy, I didn't have any of that. I went in at 7 o'clock, and I was there grinding. I used to fall asleep in the back of this shop during my lunch hour, like by the what do they call it? By like the detailing cabinet where they used to have all these like chemicals and stuff like that. I would go to sleep and my boss would come and he would throw water at me and he'd be like, wake up, it's time to get back to work. Whereas now today, I have the ability to take a break if I want to. If I want to take a little power nap, which I like to do, I do that pretty much every day, So although I do say it's tough, it's totally worth it. It is totally worth it. And I'm here to tell you today that this day and age, I wholeheartedly believe that regardless of what your skill set and where you are at, you get the opportunity and the ability to take part in this, And so as a entrepreneur or someone who is looking to start getting clients or customers or make some money online or get into this world, or if you're already in this world, then you can certainly relate into what I'm talking about even more. You will be faced with fires and problems that you need to put out every single day. And your ability to solve those problems and deal with that stress and pressure of those things is going to be the thing that decides on how far and how successful you get to be in this world. And so I want to share with you the 2 ways that I have found to solve any problem outside of AI. We're going to talk about AI too, because for those of you that are using AI like most people in my channel are, I hope that you have already found yourself, the term I like to use is shadowboxing. Shadowboxing with your favorite AI, whether it's Gemini or it's Manus or whatever you're using to find information, get customers, get leads. I hope that you are shadowboxing with your AI on a regular basis. You're asking it questions. You're having it enhance the things that you are creating and taking those things to the next level so that you can use it. You can give it to your team. You can blow up anything that you're doing. AI is massive, right? But beyond that, there are 2 ways that you can solve any problem that I have found. And I'm going to give you some examples, some real world examples. So, number 1, if you have any problem, you can solve that problem by learning a new skill. Okay? You can learn a new skill to solve that problem. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're not good at getting customers. Well, you can learn how to close deals. You can learn sales. You're not good at finding customers. Well, you can learn how to prospect. You can get better at prospecting. You can find a new way to build a list of customers or leads or nurture them, right? So learning a skill, one way to solve any problem. The second way is to find someone who has that skill. This can be a specialist or this can be AI, right? That is why we use AI to shadowbox damn near all day long. But I want to talk about learning a new skill and some ways that I have used it to solve almost every problem in business. So going back to lack of consistent leads or sales. And by the way, for those of you that are part of my channel or maybe you're brand new, I have a 4-part AI fast track training where we go over even further on how to get customers, sell them AI related services. I even give you 30 days free to the best AI software tool I know of out there in that 4-part AI fast track training. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, just do that. Comment below and I'll send you a link to that AI fast track training. We'll talk about the things that we're doing here. You get weekly trainings and all that stuff too. It's free, totally free. So back to whatever the obstacle or problem that you are facing in your business is and solving it with learning a new skill. So maybe those of you that are here, I see Miles, Greg, Spider, lots of people here. What is the obstacle that you are facing in your business right now? Maybe you could put that in the chat. Is it you can't get any customers? You do not know how to create something. Maybe you want to grow a YouTube channel, but you don't know where to start. You don't know how to create content. You don't know how to film. There's so much that goes into everything. You might not even know where to start, right? That might be your biggest problem. And if people do put that in there, I will come back into the chat here and try to solve some of those problems for you with some examples here. So I want to give you a case in point though, right? I started my digital marketing company. It's called Mina Marketing. And last year we became ranked as the 2nd fastest growing company in Hawaii. You can see this is Pacific Business News. This is the paper, a publication that came out with that. And the way that we grew to that level was by building a team. Because at the end of the day, I know a little bit about how to build a website, but I am not a grandmaster specialist web developer. I know how to use like a no coding web developer or website tool like we use in Go High Level and stuff like that. But I'm not a custom coder. And so how do I sell $5,000, $10,000 websites? Well, I find people who are good at building websites. So back to my example of either I could have learned how to build that website or I could find someone who has that skill. Now, in the beginning, you may be thinking to yourself like, well, if I want to build a website for somebody and sell it for $10,000, I can't hire a web developer. I don't have the money to do that. Well, the nice thing about this type of business model is that you do not need to be you do not need to have a bunch of starting capital to hire people to start your business. I'm going to use this tool here to show you what I mean. So starting an online business is super lucrative today because number one, what I always encourage people to do is Step one, go get your client. Now, find somebody that needs a website. I have videos on my channel that talk about selling websites and getting people and prospecting, getting your foot in the door. We're not going to go into that. But if you were to find someone right now that needs a website and you sell it to them for $5,000, what you should do is collect this $5,000 up front. Or at least what we do is we collect 2/3. You got to get a deposit for your website, right? That allows you to start the project, and then the final third is when you deliver the website. So what I would do is I would take the 2/3 of this and I would use it to go find a specialist. And I would pay that specialist out of this money, out of this 2/3 of $5,000. So this is lucrative because you collect the money up front. You use a portion of that money to pay a specialist. Now, where do you find a specialist? You go to a platform like Upwork. This is Upwork, upwork.com. If you haven't used it before, it's a platform that you can go to and you can post jobs. You can post a job saying, I'm looking for someone to create a website for this specific industry. You can, once you get your client, go make the posting for Upwork. If you're watching this video, I'm giving you the confidence right now. I'm hoping that you get the confidence in knowing that if you go out there and sell a website, Upwork is there right now. You can make that job posting. By the end of the day, you will be able to find a web developer who can help you build that website. Even if you've never built a website before in your life, you will find a specialist that can do it for you, and you will share the details to that web developer. And I know this, and I'm trying to give you that confidence because, as you can see on your screen, let me blow this up a little bit. This is my Upwork profile. This is a recent job posting I made. Again, I'm not a software developer, but I build software and I sell software tools, right? I have client getting software that allows us to get more clients in our agency, right? Here, for example, here's Directoryai. This is a tool that we built on high level that helps us get clients in our local area. And we have some incredible results for this, but at the end of the day, I'm not a software developer, but I had that problem of needing to get a piece of software developed. And I was able to do that by going to Upwork and making a job posting and, getting a React developer. I don't know anything about React, which is coding language, but you can see that our digital marketing company specializes in cutting edge products. We're looking to enhance our latest one. We need a developer who is proficient in all these things. And so I made this post. Somebody on my team made this post, to be completely upfront with you. And I believe we have hired somebody who can help us with this software that we're building. And so I'm sharing this with you so that you know that this is real, right? I'm not somebody who is just talking out of the side of my neck. I'm somebody that's actually doing this stuff for a living, for real life. My agency, I pull up my Square account here. We've generated $46,000. I'm refreshing it so you know that it's live and active. $46,000 in revenue in the last 30 days, just in our Square account. There's a lot more revenue in QuickBooks, but these are all from clients, working with clients. This actually has nothing to do with the software or anything like that. This is just the client-based business. And so I'm sharing this with you again so that you know that the information I'm sharing with you, it comes from being in the trenches. And you can see here on my Upwork portfolio, I've spent over $244,000 on this platform, just hiring specialists to help me solve the problems that I face in my everyday business. Oftentimes we are here at home, you're in your office, you're in a room, you're like, man, how do I run a Facebook ad? How do I build a website? How do I create a piece of software? How do I do sales? How can I find customers? You can learn how to do those things, or you can find somebody who does. And you can find somebody who does and pay them by collecting other people's money up front and paying them in the process. Collect the money, find the person to help you, and pay them and keep the rest. And you are essentially, and I say this in all my videos, it really helps people conceptualize a general contractor. In our agency, we offer websites, SEO, Google Ads. We use AI software to tie all those things together, and we sell AI software to businesses. But at the end of the day, I'm not a web developer. I'm not an SEO person. I'm not a website or a PPC specialist, a Google Ad specialist, a Facebook ad specialist. I have people on my team who are, right? These people here in the bottom. And I get paid to find clients and sell them something that my team fulfills, just like a general contractor. When you go to build a house, you hire a general contractor. He finds the plumber, he finds the roofer, he finds the tile guy. He doesn't do any of those things. He knows them. He knows how to find them. He knows how to manage them. He knows how to pay them. So he collects the money from you. He finds a specialist. They come in, they fix your house, they do all that stuff. Somebody says, you learn how to manage by being a middleman. Exactly, 100%. And that is the whole point of this video. And, at the end of the day, there is nothing wrong with being a middleman or a general contractor. Let me be clear. I'm posting this right now on the internet, right? I have clients that see all my stuff. If they see that I have a team helping me fulfill these services, there is nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, I pride myself in finding specialists that are damn good at building websites, running Google ad campaigns, building SEO campaigns, far more than I would ever be able to do myself. And so they get the benefit of working with me in that I can find people who are good at these things and dedicate these specialists to their campaigns. And so that is a huge benefit. Now, if you ever have somebody come up to you and say hey, I heard you're outsourcing my campaign or something like that, that's not realistic. That's not something that they can be unhappy with. Almost everything, almost all business in this world is outsourced. Even when I used to be a mechanic, right? When I go back to this, my boss was outsourcing oil changes to me. He was outsourcing brake jobs to me. I was just there in his shop. We just have this new world of being able to hire overseas, use AI to fulfill, where people might think that that's a little weird, but it's your job to set the proper expectation. And so going back to this, for people that are just coming in, 2 ways to solve any problem. Learn a new skill. You know how to do that, right? The best way to learn a new skill is go to a tool like Manus AI or Gemini or ChatGPT. Look at this. I'm asking this question. How big is the software directory market? Because I'm trying to target a market for smart directory software, right? I want to know how big the market is. I'm doing market research. I'm here in my office shadowboxing with Manus AI, asking it to do the market research for me. I'm making decisions. I'm learning these skills based off of what I get from AI. Whereas before, I didn't have access to any of this stuff. I actually had to do the research myself. And so I'm hoping that you guys are getting value in this video. Number one, if you are, please please subscribe. I'm going to continue to roll out more general business style content on this channel that will come from everything that I've done from growing, multiple 7-figure businesses and continue to scale them to 8 figures and beyond. And if you have questions on that, please post them below. I respond to every single comment on this channel. So make sure that if you're watching the replay of this, you post your comments below. So I use Manus AI, ChatGPT, Gemini to learn new things. I will also purchase courses and join training and get coaching and mentorship. I have about 3 different coaches myself right now in different levels of business. The biggest one that I have been finding the most benefit from is having a leadership coach, because out of the gate, my natural skill set is not to lead a huge group of people. And over the years, the teams within my companies have grown to pretty big numbers. And I need support in that, So I know that if I go to someone who has done that for 10 or 20 years and I can pay them to get the entire playbook from them right up front, it's going to save me so much time and money. So why not do that every single time I have a problem, right? If I want to learn how to surf better, go get a surfing coach. Save the time. Golf better, go get a golfing coach. Jiu-jitsu, go get a jiu-jitsu coach. Box better, go get a boxing coach. Business is the same way. If you want to learn something faster, obviously consume as much information as you can, but also get a coach, or join a community. If you're watching this right now, you can go to offlinesharks.com/Facebook, and I have a free Facebook community of over 20,000 other digital marketer, agency owner people that are in this community that are asking questions, that are helping other people in the community, supporting other people, sharing about their successes, sharing about their wins. And we do weekly live trainings in this community. It's actually on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, our other YouTube channel. And if you're looking to grow this type of business, then you're in the right place. You need to take action and take an active role in growing your business. That's another thing that I don't think people really understand. There's a lot of clickbait out there. Lord knows I've created clickbait before, because that's the market that we play in, right? If you don't create clickbait on YouTube, the algorithm will never push you out. That's just the way it is. I don't make the rules, but at the end of the day, if you're creating clickbait, you better provide value in that video. And that's what I always try to do. I try to give as much value as I possibly can. But in a world of clickbait, where people are just getting attention but do not really have the results and real world experience to back that stuff up, it's much more important for you to know how to identify what information is garbage. The filter that you have is more important than ever before, because if you start spending your time and attention and resources on the wrong thing, something that's bullcrap, then it's a waste. You need to know right now that you're spending time on stuff that actually works. And so that's the reason we created our community, and it's totally free. If you're on my channel right now, you can go there. You can, I always encourage people to go to the little magnifying glass here at the top and search the hashtag win, because you will see this person 17 hours ago got their new directory site up. This person a couple days ago landed 2 clients this week, $2,000 deal, $129 a month. These are people that are taking action. These are not get rich quick people that are just, somehow found a push button easy method. Like, they're taking action on a strategy that works, and they don't have to ask as many questions because they know something works, and they get traction and customers quicker. So that's kind of my spiel for today. I see a bunch of questions coming in. Somebody says, one of the tips you can use to ask your customer for the upfront cost to pay your specialist? So that's a good question. I always just frame it. Like, let's say I'm selling a monthly marketing package that includes, social posting and maybe some Google business optimization. When I'm having that conversation with the potential customer, I just tell them, great, it's $1,000 to start. And I can send over the invoice, or I can take payment now. And once we get that, we can get things going. It's a really subtle shift for you to understand that it's totally normal to ask for payment up front. And I remember back in the day, when people do landscaping at my house, they do the landscaping and then we pay them. So I had to retrain myself to understand that you can ask for payment up front. So we always ask for payment up front. And so just be upfront about it. Don't shy away from it. Get that confidence in knowing that's a standard practice, and just do it every single time. Somebody said, what is your Facebook group page? So if you go to offlinesharks.com/Facebook, you can get access to that. Somebody says, I'm learning the skills you're teaching us alongside a job. I'd love a few tips on time management. So, Linny, that's a great question. Time management, obviously I don't know your schedule, so it's kind of tough, but I would maybe come to the group and post a little bit more about your schedule. But, as far as time management goes, when I was starting out, I worked on this was like what I did on the side, right? My side hustle. Some people call it moonlighting, right? You work at night on your side hustle or your business. And so I would say, don't get discouraged on how much time you can spend, but more focus on just being consistent and spending a little bit of time as consistently as possible. I had a mentor who told me at one point, when I was at like the bottom low of my life, like got in a car accident because I was partying too much and just a total like young degenerate kid out here in Hawaii. And I remember just being in a deep hole looking out of it. And I was like, man, I'm never going to get out of this. I'm screwed. And he was like, don't be discouraged. And he was a German dude, so this analogy might not make any sense, but he said, I'll never forget this. He said, a drop of water on a stone every day eventually will make a hole. And I think that was a German saying translated to English. He was a Swiss guy, Swiss German. But it makes sense, right? Consistency, a little bit every single day will eventually add up to the wins that you seek. Somebody's asking about the free training. The 4-part AI fast track training. So yeah, I'm going to give that to you guys live. If you are watching the replay, just comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I will send it to you in the comments. I'll send you a link to that. And then, let's see. Not sure why it's not showing up. Offline sharks. Okay. Somebody said, I want to be the part. I am advanced digital marketing expert and do from web development, SEO, Google Ads management. Please tell me how to connect. Yeah, like there's a lot of, you should go to Upwork and respond to job posts. That's one way of doing it. Somebody says regular naps are correlated with lower heart disease. Fun fact. So the power nap thing, that Swiss dude that was my mentor back in the day, he was the one that told me about the power nap thing. And I, till this day, do regularly take 20-minute-ish power naps. Anything longer than 20 minutes will give you just total brain fog for the rest of the day. Somebody says, I want to compliment you. I've untold a number of others providing various processes for creating income stream easy. What they are doing is better than I really appreciate that, Miles. So I am, like I said, always going to do my best to give you guys all of the best information I have from what's actively working in my business right now. And again, it's pretty successful. We get clients every single day. We have a pretty big team. So if you're interested in how to use AI, how to get more customers, how to grow this type of business, obviously join the free 4-part AI fast track training, join the Facebook group, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell notification so you get notified whenever I put out videos, and then comment on all my videos and let me know what your questions are. If you have other things that you'd like me to create videos on, I'm happy to do that, but I don't know unless you tell me, and I read all the comments. So with that, everybody, appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you on our live training calls in the fast track, and I will see you in the next